Welcome back to Lisa Cooks Food. I'm Lisa, this is Doug. Ordinarily, we do a little kitchen education, but today we're making birthday cakes because it's our birthday.
Yep, our birthday. We actually have the same birthday. At least that's what I told her.
Since it is our birthday, we're gonna have a little fun and make each other's birthday cakes.
And to really kick it up a notch, we're gonna do it separately. I'm gonna make Lisa's cake on my own with no help. And Lisa's gonna make my cake on her own with no help, but you know.
That's kind of what I do.
That's her thing. Now the risk here, of course, is that Lisa is a little bit of a cake snob.
It's true.
And I'm a little bit of a terrible cook. And so this could be really interesting.
First step for any cake is to spend 12 hours on Pinterest and figure out which cake you want to copy. I've already done this step, so I'm ready for step 2. Make a plan and sketch it out.
So the first part of making a cake is to go to the grocery store and pick out your cake mix. So I did just that. I landed on Betty Crocker Super Moist Yellow Cake.
I'm gonna make this a 3-layer white chocolate cake with white chocolate buttercream.
So the design we're going with, as you can see here, is a yellow cake with a chocolate icing. Apparently it's got 2 layers. I'll be doing 2 layers. And it looks to be round, so I'll be doing round as well. I guess I'm supposed to draw it up.
So I'm gonna make some swoopy, colorful things at the bottom here. A portion of the cake will have some drip lines down the side.
Our cake will be round. I guess that'll mean 2 layers. It's going to have icing on it. This is so easy.
And I'll add some swirls in a crescent shape across the top with a happy birthday message in the middle.
Maybe I'll try to find a candle.
I'll be using blues and gold. I think that's a good plan.
I think the big difference here from this box will be that I'm gonna try to make the fudge icing. Lisa has a fudge icing that she loves. I found the recipe, so I'm gonna give it a try. And really, I think this is my design. Cake.
In order to make a beautiful layer cake, I have brought all of my ingredients to room temperature and I will carefully measure them using a scale. I like to measure in grams because it's very precise.
Heat oven for shiny metal or glass pan. Oh my gosh. I gotta measure the shininess of my pan.
We'll start by creaming butter and sugar in the mixer.
Okay, I found pans. I don't know what size these are though.
Creaming butter and sugar together in the mixer at medium speed will increase the air bubbles that turn into fluff in the oven.
All right, these are 8-inch round pans.
While this cream's in the mixer, I'll crack the eggs.
Mix cake mix, water, oil, and eggs in a large bowl with mixer on medium speed.
This butter and sugar is creamy and light colored. It's ready for eggs.
Okay, now I just gotta mix the, oh gosh, it's rising and bubbling and whatnot. Okay, figure it out.
I'll measure my dry ingredients to the bowl and alternate them with the wet.
It has different speeds, but I'm scared.
This is cake flour. It has a finer mill and also a lighter consistency, less gluten to make for a very tender cake.
Just mixing, oh.
Before I get too far ahead of myself, I need to prepare my pans for this cake batter. I'm going to use parchment paper and spray.
Okay, now I've got to spray these pans down. Too much? Who knows?
Now the fancier among you may invest in some round parchment paper pieces that just fit directly into your pan without any trimming. But I find that I have to have so many different sizes that I just cut mine from a flat piece, and I'll show you how to do that.
And then pour them into pans. Okay, so I guess I gotta go half and half into this bad boy. Boy, that spray.
I'm going to use the straight edges to fold a crease halfway, then turn it 90 degrees and fold the other way.
That spray has a little bit of something in it.
So I have a nice square corner here. I'm gonna fold that on a 45-degree angle this way, and then half of that again to make a little triangle.
Oh, God.
From here, you could adjust this to any size pan. If you had 8-inch rounds or 9-inch rounds or 10-inch rounds, you could use the same piece to make a circle to go inside here.
All right, so somehow I'm gonna try to get half and half.
I'm just going to eyeball the middle of the pan and where I need to cut. For my 8-inch circle, you could also measure with a ruler and cut it 4 inches.
This feels like very little.
Open this up and it's approximately a circle.
I'm sure this is how the pros do it.
Layer it inside. It will stick to that spray, and I just give one more little spray on top of the paper. It will peel right off after the cake is baked.
Oh, I put my hand in it.
With the eggs added to the butter, I'm going to add my vanilla.
Okay, so now these need to go in the oven.
And now we'll begin by alternating dry and wet ingredients. 3 additions of dry, 2 additions of wet.
All right, well, let's set a thing for like 28 minutes or so, and then we'll check on it. Let's get these in the oven.
Stir this just until it's combined. This time it's sour cream that goes in. Another addition of the dry.
Does anybody know which rack in the oven they're supposed to go on?
This time whole milk, and one last addition of the dry. I'm going to scrape the sides carefully, and this is where I take my melted white chocolate and dribble it in ribbons into the mix.
Okay, so those are gonna be in the oven for a little bit, and then check on them with a toothpick.
This is a beautiful smooth batter, ready for the pans.
Maybe I'll clean up in the meantime.
I wrote down ages ago the weight of my mixing bowls so that I can weigh the total amount that is in this bowl and then divide that evenly among whichever pans I'm using. I can do a little simple math and find out the weight of my batter. I always round down because I won't ever be able to get all of it out. I'll be using 3 layers today, so I'll divide that number by 3. Zero the scale with the pan on it, and I have learned that even if the pans look alike, they don't necessarily weigh the same, so be sure to zero that scale each pan. And I'm aiming for 575 grams. I want to bake these as soon as possible, so they're going in the oven.
Okay, check these bad boys out with my trusty toothpick, and it is coming out with just little flecks of cake, which I'm trying to make cake, so it feels good.
These beautiful cakes are done. I'll let these cakes cool and wrap them up.
I'm gonna try to turn this off somehow. I don't know how. Stop, and stop, no. You, stop, upper, stop, up, stop, on, stop, off, timer, off. No, that's still the, God. We're just gonna always have one oven on, okay? From now on. Okay, so these are obviously really hot, so they need to cool, I guess, and then we'll wrap them up and put them in the fridge so we can decorate them after they've cooled off. Do they cool faster if you stare at them?
These cakes have come out of the oven. They're cool enough to work with, but not completely cool, and that's how I like to wrap my cakes. I go ahead and wrap a little bit of that extra steam in there so that it adds a moistness to the cake.
Okay, now that my cakes have cooled, I need to wrap them up in cling wrap.
I double wrap each layer in plastic wrap, and I either refrigerate or freeze them before icing them so that they're nice and sturdy to hold up against all the smearing.
This is already not going well. Fancy.
So if your layers need leveling, this is the right time to do it.
I could level it, but I'm a little scared, and I'll just fill it with icing.
Now these have the parchment paper on the bottom. I choose to leave it on there, wrap it up, and remove it as I build the cake. Whatever you choose to do, you need to be consistent. You either always leave it on or always take it off so you won't have any random layers of paper in your cakes. This is just about level, but I am gonna take a little off the top.
You know what? Smells like cake, looks like cake.
I usually just put these scraps on a paper plate. They'll be gone in a few minutes. So this has 1 layer of plastic wrap, and I will put it in a 2nd layer.
Oh, I ripped it. Oh no. Oh, golly. Oh.
And then freeze or refrigerate this on a flat shelf.
Lisa is a professional at this. She can just always just get the cling wrap just right and then wrap things up. And it seems so easy for her.
I don't normally have this much trouble, but These layers are nice and flat, double wrapped, ready to go on a shelf in the fridge or freezer to chill for icing.
Well, that'll be easy to get undone later. Okay, these need to fully cool. I'm gonna put them in the freezer. Then when we come to the decorating, the icing will actually stick to it. So let's go get these in the freezer. All right, and now we wait.
Subscribe to see the conclusion next time on Lisa Cooks Food.
Okay, well that means this is not gonna work. That is all sorts of uneven.
Well, I've iced this cake and I forgot to turn on the camera because Doug usually does that. Uh-oh, I can't. So is this my favorite icing?
It may be a variation on your favorite icing.